this is a gearbox, and when you look at the gearbox, specifically the automatic transmission, it works under the operation of clutches. So when I pull out this clutch, I would just want to show you what it is inside. So you got to pull out gently, not to distract or disengage the other gears in. Now when you pull it out, it will come out in this way with its full assembled clutches inside, the inner drive and the outer drive, plus this local ring outside. So when this thing rotates, the clutch bands are engaged and they forcefully lock up in order to drive the lower gears below. So this is the C1 clutch pack, and I'm going to put it back. The main point of opening up, the target of opening up this gearbox was to replace the oil pump seal. And with replace of oil pump seal, you just get to replace the whole pump, because that seal is quite a tedious thing to remove and refix, and it works on that harsh condition for a good long time. But what we do, we just replace the whole pump. Now getting you the pump here, this is the worn out seal. You can see as I touch it, it is showing you how burn it is. You see that? Now when this oil burns out, it causes leakage, and once this machine runs without that oil, it automatically burns the seals. Now when you look at this new one, it is perfectly okay, and it is even soft, meaning it will lock as we want it to do. And this is a 1ZZ engine gearbox, so automatically once you go for a 1ZZ, this is how your automatic transmission will look like. These big holes will correspond with the big ones, and the small ones corresponding with small ones, on that manner. You see these two small ones and this big one, so they will all lie in here. So I'm going to replace it, and then we run this engine including the pump, so just stay tuned. Now if you go away right now, you will miss out to a certain procedure, that is only that what I may not show you is fixing replacement, okay, but the rest is locking it up, a replacement. Now here we are replacing the pump, boom, that way. Now twist it in order to perfectly lock with your fastening nut in the housing case, then bring your bolts and tie. Now I always recommend you to first tighten by hand, because when you tighten by hand, you're calling up the other advantage of proper threads alignment. Now after tightening by hand, you bring in the spanner and tighten perfectly in order to eliminate the other issue of opening up during use. So during use, you will lock up these things in order to eliminate that issue. Now when you have locked up tightly and you go all across, or you can talk down to, if you are using a talking machine, you can talk down. If you don't have that machine still, don't let the money go, or don't leave the work go, or don't fail to work. Talk by your hand and adjust. Now after that, punch on the silicone and place it there, because on this gearbox we don't want to allow leakage and less of it, because even if you apply too much of it, it will get in and then block either the oil ways or the filter ways, which will be even another issue to handle, meaning you will again reopen the gearbox. So please put little and endeavor to put it at the extreme edges, such that when you tighten up, little will push in but not going in the crankcase or the gear housing. Now when you finish that, please organize it perfectly in that, as you eliminate that issue, so that you can then bring our cover. So we have an outer cover which holds the torque converter. Now when I bring in the outer cover, this is the outer cover now. Yes, this is the outer cover with a bearing here which supports the rotation of the cam to select the gears, and holds the in between differential which connects the diff and clutch assembly. So this in between is held by that. Now when you place it perfectly, organize that it aligns, because it has some aligns, then tap it down a little bit after organizing. Yes, just like so. So then on that way better, then we are going to add on the another ish element of the screws. So when you put on the screws, automatically the screws will tighten up and then push in, and the silicone will merge. But before putting on this cover, you need to first wait for a given time in that the silicone will set. So when the silicone sets, it brings in the other element of gripping better than if at all the silicone is not set. So place your bolts one by one, and I think, let me go up by speed here. But still, even if I don't speed up this option, I want you to see it clearly. Okay, so when you place them by hand, you set and then you tighten again by hand with the spanner. Then after tightening up by hand with the spanner, and then you set all out across. So immediately you can set across two bolts here, like you can see here, the two across bolts, and then I'm going to set one on the differential, and the drive shafts were disconnected plus their CV joints. So the joint was also removed in that I can get clearance, that like that. And sometimes you can even add up a spanner to tighten down. But before that, or as I told you that I'm setting the gear case, so I've tied the two to set, and again one on the diff here, meaning 3 nuts have set it perfect. So I'm going to add in, so the rest will be just closing up the process. And let us enter into the other final. So you can talk down this down, and again you get a spanner and add into your spanner. You can get a fixed ring, others call it a half wrench, others call it half ring, others call it half, anyway others call it a torque, but all works perfect. But on speeding it up, as I had eliminated, but now there is no reason why I don't speed it up. So torque down every nut as you've seen, and then we'll let the other things continue. Now looking at this seal is perfect, so I'm not going to replace it. I'm just going to put in the CV joint again. So the CV, you just bring it down as it is, you tap it down. These CVs are made in a way that when you tap it down slowly, it will engage in. But please don't just force in. Endeavor to make sure that it aligns perfectly. That's why I'm pushing it in as I'm rotating to see whether it is working. However, if you just push it in, you will spoil the differential. So this is the mounting of the gear. So I can put it back. I have no any reason, because now I'm assembling to drive. The repair is done. The whole thing here was to replace this oil pump, and the oil pump was due to that oil pump seal. You get a point? So the rest was all okay. And let me show you, yeah, the CV is perfect. And let me show you where we're going to replace it. And when you rotate here, it is okay. So even when you rotate the other side, it is perfect. So this is where we are going to put our gear. This is the engine, this is 1ZZ engine, this is the area. Then after putting it all inside, we are going to start the engine. But before starting the engine, let's replace the oil. And after replacing the oil, we are going to gauge. So since we don't have a funnel, we're just going to improvise by the paper. I usually put some of these tricks in my videos, so some of you who are able to watch and finish will get these tricks usually. So another trick is here, putting in little at a time. So this is the TF red hydraulic. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up. God bless.